Okay. I've been working to, let's see if this is a good spot to sit, to try to record videos in different spots just around my property. Let's see if over here is better. Just a little closer. But I don't know, I just like really want to showcase how beautiful it is and give people a little taste of, yeah, that's better. Yeah, just allow you to experience it with me as I record videos. That feels really good. This is one of my favorite little pools because it's a really nice bath spot. This is Grace Branch. It's really magic. I found myself, before this video, I was trying to troubleshoot because the last video that I tried to record, my external mic wasn't working, and I didn't realize that, so the sound was a little garbled. Or just, not garbled, but just drowned out by the sound of the spring branch, so it was perfect. Some of y'all experienced that before I pulled the video down. But I realized that my cable was plugged in backwards, so it's a little little technology dingus move. But even just like that simple example kind of showcases, you know, just something that I've been experiencing in my life and a pattern that has been like making itself very deeply apparent, which is doubt. And doubt is so sneaky. So sneaky. That gnawing, like doubt, I look at doubt as like that gnawing of questioning yourself. And it's so deeply ingrained. For me, it's been so deeply ingrained. And that one has let go in layers. There have been big releases of it. And most of it had fallen away. But just here recently, I noticed all the teeny little ways that it was still kind of like poking its head up. Specifically, one of the big ones was around just like the level of understanding that's been cultivated here, just the seeing that's happened. There's just this like little thought of, am I really there yet? Like, is it really worth, is this sharing really worth it? I don't even know what that means, but, or, is this really helping? And I don't share to help, but there is just this little like gnawing that I've been noticing and feeling. And just like the ways that it's shown up in different facets of life. And I noticed that's finally like really unhooking, like in a way that feels total. And that unhooking of that, you know, just like nagging doubt happened actually through a, you know, just like a personal relationship in my life. And there's been this, I guess you could call it an integration in life, like since the big revelation of being like kind of living as emptiness, and then that has come to be embodied, and then there's been a seeing of like an embrace of everything being included in the understanding that there's like the heart completely cracking open and dissolving, and the pain of that, really feeling the pain of that, and letting the whole world in, letting life in, letting all the pain that I've been avoiding in. And so there's been like this integration process of coming to follow that movement of truth, because it's a really subtle movement. It's like a pull, a tug, and it's been kind of integrating into the moment to moment, like lived experience of telling the truth in every moment, even when it's hard, especially with, you know, the closer relationships in my life. And that doesn't mean to be critical, but to follow that like quiet impulse and that quiet voice, and to speak those like quiet tugs, to speak it out loud even when it feels like a little fierce, or there's a worry about hurting somebody's feelings, or, and I've noticed that like that's where that doubt was so prevalent, of suppressing that, like a can I really trust that? Like that doubt was so prevalent there. And I've just like more and more and more and more and more come to speak from that quiet place. I guess the way that I could describe it is coming to let the silence speak, like speaking from the silent place that I've come to know myself to be, and letting the words come from there. And there is a situation in my life, I'm not going to go into the details, but just like a personal relationship of where, you know, things wanted to be spoken, and it felt really fierce, and it really challenged the mask of kindness, or it was really firing up that doubt, that like old energy of doubt. Like it was so loud. But it was highlighting something, like the way that has still been coming forth and generating division. Because the doubt is division. So something kind of dropped, something dissolved through this, you know, like personal circumstance in life, through this, you know, relating with somebody. And that it felt like that doubt kind of dissolved finally. And there was just a really like through and through and through and through and through. Not just a realizing, but like a feeling and like a knowing into my bones that I can trust that silent place implicitly. Or like I've come to trust it more and more and more, and trust the movement of truth. But something about this, just it, like that trust, just like something dropped and like feels more total. And there was just this like, oh, like I can really trust this. like this can really be trusted. And it's required such a deep letting go of thoughts or beliefs or what I think I want for myself or my life, or what I think like the mind might think is best for others, or like conditioning that's been kind of ingrained to be a certain way, or to show up a certain way, or to do what's best for others. And there's just like really, it like dropped, it really dropped, and really, I don't know, like it was like a switch being flipped, that truth, that silent place that speaks, giving into that, embracing that, surrendering to that, letting go to that is such a fierce act of love. And it has challenged the concept here that was built up around what it meant to be loving. And there's just like this fierceness and this fire in that movement of truth, and in that dissolving of doubt. There's a fire in that, and a fierceness in that, and a richness in it, and an aliveness, and a realizing that like, oh, like really letting go into that fully, and not listening, or just like seeing those little, the doubt is like, oh, that's just a thought, that's just a belief, that's illusion, that's creating division. Really seeing that and feeling it and grokking it. Like there's this fierce love that has opened as a result of that, that has like been embodied as a result of that. And that's one of the hardest, I really feel that's one of the hardest, that's been one of the hardest parts of this, just in my experience. Because that doubt was so deeply ingrained. Like this voice was so silenced. And there was just like such deep conditioning to externalize, to I guess give that trust away. I don't know how to say this, to default to another and another's intuition over that like quiet movement of truth internally. And that has been such a deep letting go. Like it's required letting go of everything. Like every way of being, every way of relating. Like it's required a full emptying. But the interesting thing with that trust is like it's required emptying to really allow that quiet movement to flow freely, and to allow that doubt to dissolve. But the paradox in that is like, for me, what it's felt like is it has required emptiness to just flow through without bumping up against anything. So the emptiness is what allows it to flow unimpeded. And the emptying of self and conditioning and beliefs and like blockages in the physical body. But the paradox is that flow, that unimpeded flow, has required a cracking open of the heart and an opening to the unconditioned heart, an opening to complete unknown, complete mystery, total vulnerability, just like this rawness and just tender, tender, tender place. That feels so unprotected. And just realizing that that doubt was like a mechanism to hide behind, or to like a mechanism of self-protection, to like protect the unconditioned heart, because the unconditioned heart has no protection. It has no walls, it has no armor. It can't hide. It can't turn away from pain. It can't turn away from grief. It can't turn away from challenge. Like everything is let in, everything is felt. And that movement has been so painful for me. It's been so painful to really open to that. So like that paradox is that it required the emptying for that flow of truth to move through unimpeded, but it has also created this space where everything is let in. Life can't be held out in any way anymore. So it's the meeting, what it feels like is like the meeting place of the emptiness and the everythingness, of the formless and the form. It's like that singular point where the two meet and aren't separate and can't be separated. Where the emptiness, like the embodiment of the emptiness, actually reveals like a necessity to embrace everything, like a necessity for like a deep intimacy with everything. And that was so fucking painful because I was really running from that. Like the emptiness part of this is, it feels, it's so much, like that was hard, but what I realized is that was way easier because it was like, it felt like an escape, or there was like this idea in the mind that was it. Like it was just the emptiness and like, oh, this is great, it's emptiness and I don't have to, I can like, oh, you know, it just wasn't like a conscious thought, but I can avoid all of the pain. I can just tell myself that this pain isn't true, that it's just a story or a belief. And so it was a way to hold the world out, like to try to camp out in, you know, the I am sense, or the pure beingness, or the emptiness, or the God consciousness, you know, whatever you want to call it. And it was like trying to stay there and like holding everything out, pushing everything else out. And in doing so, like that's more division. That's just like a spiritualized form of division and separation. But like the real embrace of this, and where the real, like the fierce love, like truth is a fierce love, like a fierce, fierce love. And it's it's a sacrifice, like a true sacrifice, like sacrificing the peace that I've found, that I know myself to be, to go back and liberate all the confused places. Like that requires such a fierce love and like a deeper surrender than the emptying. And I didn't realize that would be the case. Like a way deeper surrender. So that like unity, or like heart awakening to the unconditioned heart, is this fucking fierce movement. And all the like subtlety, the subtle ways that division was being maintained, or that life was being held out, or that I was trying to hold on to transcendence, or like staying in a place of peace, or staying in the truth of what I had come to know myself to be. And camping out there, like, had to be let go. Because truth is it's the, like, once you touch that, you can't forget it. Once you come to know yourself as that, it's not forgotten. Maybe it gets, like, covered over or obscured for a bit because the energies of, like, beliefs and identities, ways of identifying and patterns and ways of being that have been conditioned into the system are so dense that it appears to cover it over, but it can't. Like, you can't. What I had to come to realize is, like, I couldn't actually lose what I am in truth. Like, it's not possible. So, like, moving back into, like, that embrace is not moving away from the presence, the silence, the emptiness, the beingness, the I am sense. So it's like what happens before awakening is, like, the identification is confused. So we believe that what we are is the thoughts and the person, and then that confusion gets rectified and we realize that, like, no, actually I'm the awareness that's observing that. What I actually am is what doesn't come or go. And then there's a movement back into everything, but without that confusion anymore. And that's what frees the world. That's where the world dissolves, and that intimacy with everything is seen and felt, and you come to know yourself as everything. So that doubt for me it's just, yeah, it just started coming up a lot. It was really loud. It's just like, oh, here's all these little ways where this is still being believed. Where division is being generated. And then there was a movement back into that. It wasn't trying to hold the doubt out or trying to get rid of the doubt. It was just seeing the doubt and doubting the doubt, pointing the doubt back at itself. And I got that pointer from Adyashanti. Hello. Oh, there's a little moth that's landed on my nose. I don't know if you saw that. That was really adorable. Or a butterfly or something. Wow. Just got a little butterfly kiss. So sweet. So the awakening of the mind is like coming to know oneself as emptiness, and then awakening of the heart is so the mind is disidentifying from the conditioned mind, and that confusion of identifying with the conditioned mind being rectified, and coming to know that what you actually are is the unconditioned mind, the spaciousness. And not just know it here, but, like, know it in the center of your being. It, like, drops and is, like, felt in every cell. And then the awakening of the heart, which is like a shift into unity consciousness, is what some say, or God, God consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is a disidentifying from the conditioned heart, which is all the ways that we hold things out or try to move away from emotions or try to move away from behavior patterns or ways of relating, or feeling the suffering of the world, or feeling pain fully, or trying to manage the vulnerability, the exposure, trying to protect ourselves from being fully exposed and naked in the world. the heart is silenced. And that love is no longer affected by those movements of emotion, of energy. Like the heart doesn't close. It moves towards, it leans in. And that's fierce, fucking fierce. Like there's, the love part sounds really sweet, but there is such a fierceness in that I never anticipated. It's like water. Like at this, in a spring branch like this that's so soft, but water is so fierce. It's something that demands respect. It can't be ignored. That's what that movement of the heart awakening feels like. It's like the riverbed that holds the movement, but doesn't stick to the water, try to hold the water, try to confine the water. It can't. So the water is like the movements, the currents, the energetic currents of life, the emotional tones, the patterns, and the bank. In this case, I think I flipped this metaphor in a different video, so I'm kind of reversing it just to make a different point, or to point to something else. And in this case, the bank would be that like absolute aware presence that just like holds the flow without trying to impede it. It can't impede it. The conditioned heart would be trying to build a dam and creating resistance, and the unconditioned heart is the dam gets taken down. And the water, the movements of life, the currents are just allowed to flow. And the fierceness of the water is just allowed to be as it is. And there's a yielding, like a deep yielding that I never anticipated. And that doubt had to dissolve in order to open to that, in order to really yield to that. That doubt was a block to try to protect myself, or to try to maintain myself, to create division, so that I wouldn't have to feel the vulnerability of no boundaries with the world. So that's been the latest. I think this video is getting a little long, so that's been the latest development. So I think I'm going to end there. I just want to sit for a moment and just let you enjoy Here, I'll turn the camera a little bit so you can see this better. And we can just enjoy it together for a moment.